This is a demo of how you can use the map to research potential areas you may want to challenge. We'll begin over here on the left. You'll want to be on the Challenge Map tab, and then you'll want to be within the Layers section. So we'll start from the top here. The first section goes over your zone boundaries. We actually see here, if we click over to zones, that we only have one zone created at this time. We'll go ahead and click into that and then come back over to layers here. But this first section here, if you notice this little eye, you can turn off and on your zone boundaries by clicking this eye. For now, we'll keep this zone in our view. If we move down here to the next section called Broadband Serviceable Locations, you can see here that if we turn this layer off, all of our BSL points go away. But if we turn it back on, they come back. You'll see here these dots are color coded. This particular area has a lot of served locations here, but you can also see several unserved and a few underserved locations as well. For this example, if you happen to be a nonprofit, a unit of local government, or a tribal government, you may want to look specifically at served and funded BSLs. So for that example, we'll go ahead and turn off unserved and underserved. So now all that's left is showing our served locations. So as we move down, if you'd like to start looking at potentially what building type we're working with, we can switch the toggle here. So now we can see that this is mainly residential with a few businesses and residential / businesses built in here. If we zoom in just a little bit and use these buttons, we can focus on just businesses, or if we want to turn other buttons off and focus on just residential, we can do that here. You'll notice within this view, we are still seeing a few colored dots, and those are actually our community anchor institutions here. So why don't we turn off residential here just to take a closer look at the community anchor institutions. And you'll notice we have a few dots left here. So schools are green. We have one community support organization down in this view, some public safety. And actually, if you click on these individual dots, it'll tell you exactly what this is. So it'll give you the entity's name, the address, if any funding has been received prior to this or not as well. Back out of this and get back to our layers. Let's go back to the BSL view just for the sake of the demo. So again, we're looking at all of these served locations in and around East Palo Alto. Moving down here, we have a toggle that can filter by unit count. So if we wanted to look at MDUs that house between 1 and 5 people, or we can go the opposite way and look at larger MDUs. So here, these are BSLs that house 20 to 50 people. You can also go ahead and look at community anchor institutions this way as well. So if it's not a community anchor institution, we can turn it off. Or vice versa, we can turn off the community anchor institutions. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and turn the un- and underserved locations back on. And you'll notice I also turned this toggle back on. I had this toggle on down here. So you can only use one toggle at a time. But scrolling down here, we can research different funding programs. We can show locations funded by a certain program, or we can hide locations funded by a certain program by using these switches here. You can also filter by broadband technology. So if you want to show BSLs with fiber to the premises only, you can filter by that, and you'll notice many of these places went ahead and turned off. So all of the remaining BSLs are being served by fiber. Or you can hide locations served by fiber. So you'll notice the map switches quite a bit as we move those buttons around. We can also show or hide locations served by internet providers. This is showing locations served by Excel Wireless. You'll see in this particular area there are none. If we want to hide locations served by Excel Wireless, we can do that as well. As we move down here, you can also choose to view the map with census block groups showing or hidden. And then you can also view by census block boundaries. And then all the way at the bottom here, you can choose the color of your base map. So if you'd like to have a terrain view, you can use light view. You can do a satellite view, as well as the default dark view. So that is the general overview of the layers. If we move over here to zones, I'll quickly go through how you can make a zone. So to create a zone, you can give the zone any name, and then you will click Define Zone Boundaries. There's three main ways you can create a zone. You can draw a polygon. To drop a point, you will click once. And then to drop each consecutive point, you'll click once. And then to finish the design, you'll double click. And that will create your zone. And then you can go ahead and click Save Zone, and it will add it to the list here for you. So you can also create a zone by uploading your own shape files, or you can select from our preloaded library. So for example here, we want to maybe create a zone based on county. So here it will zoom us over here to Los Angeles County and create the zone that way. Then you can name it and click Save Zone Boundary. Then it will go ahead and add this into your zone list. These are in alphabetical order, and you do have the option to hide these zones. You can also download the zone after you create it. If you'd like to edit the name of the zone, you can do that here. Or if you need to clean up your area, you can go ahead and delete the zone. This concludes the demo of how to use the map to research challenges. Thank you.